નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી 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 નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી 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 નારાયણ સ્વામી
સુંદર છોગાવાળો છે નિરખ્યા નેણા ભરી રે નટવર સુંદર શ્રી ઘનશ્યામ શોભાસી કહું રે નિરકી લાજે કોટિક કામ હું તે ગુલાબ ના રે કંઠે આરોપ્યા મેં હાર લઈને વારણા રે ચરણે લાગી વારંવાર આપે મેં તો યાદ રે રે બેસવા ચાકળીઓ કરી પ્યાર ऊंचा प्रीत सूरे भाई में सर्वे समाचार कहो ने हरि क्या हतारे क्या तकी आव्या धर्म कुमार सुंदर शोभतारे अंगे सजिया छे शणगार पैरी प्रीत सूरे सुरंगे सूतन ले सुख देन नाड़ी हीर नीरे जोता तृप्त न थाए ने ऊपर ओडियो रे गोटो रेटो जोया लाग सजनी ते समेरे धन धन निरख्या तेना भाग मस्तक ऊपरे रे बांध्यो मोलेडो अमूल कोटिक रवि शशि रे ते तो नावे तेने तुल इसमी खोर नो रे कर्मा सायो छे रूमाल प्रेमानंद तो रे ए छवि निरखी थयो निहाल सजनी सांभळो रे शोभा वर्णव तेनी ते मूर्ति संभाळता रे मुझने उपजो अति स्नेह પહેર્યા તે સમેરે હરિયે અંગે અલંકાર જે અમે નિરખિયા રે તેવા વર્ણવ કરીને પ્યાર ભરાસ કપૂર ના રે પહેર્યા હૈડે સુંદર હાર તોરા પાક મારે તે પર મધુકર કરે ગુંજા બાજુ બેર ખારે બાએ કપૂર ના શોભે કપૂર ના રે જોતા ચોરે સૌના ચિત સર્વે અંગ મારે ઉઠે અત્તરની બપોર ચોરે ચિત્તને રે હસતા કમળ નયનની કો હસતા હે તમારે સૌને દેતા સુખ આનંદ રસરૂપ મૂર્તિ રે શ્રી હરિ કેવળ કરુણાકન અદભુત ઉપમા રે કહેતા શેષ કથા માટે અદભુત ઉપમા રે કહેતા શેષ પામે પાર ધરીને મૂર્તિ રે જાણે આવ્યો રસ શૃંગાર બાલપ વેણ મારે નૈણા કરુણામાં ભરપૂર અંગો અંગ મારે જાણે ઉગ્યા ગણિત સુર કરતા વાતડી રે બોલે અમૃત સરખા વેણ પ્રેમાનંદ ના રે જોતા તૃપ્ત ન થાય ને બોલ્યા શ્રી હરિ રે સાંભળો નર નારી હરિજન મારે એક વાર્તા રે સૌને સંભળાવ્યાનું છે મન મારી મૂર્તિ રે મારા લોક ભોગ ને મુખ સર્વે દિવ્ય છે રે ત્યાં તો જોયા નીચે જુક મારું ધામ છે રે અક્ષર અમૃત જેનું નામ સર્વે સામ્રતિ રે શક્તિ ગુણે કરી અભિરામ અતિ તેજોમય રે સવિશેષ કોટિક વારણે જાય શીતળ શાંત છે રે તેજની ઉપમા નવ દેવાય તેમાં હું રહું રે દ્વિભુજ દિવ્ય સદા સાકાર દુર્લભ દેવને રે મારો કોઈ ન પામે પાર જીવીશ્વર તણો રે માયા કાળ પુરુષ પ્રધાન સૌને વશ કરું રે સૌનો પ્રેરક હું ભગવાન અગણિત વિશ્વની રે રે કોઈથી તરણું નવ તોડાય એમ મને જાણજો રે મારા આશ્રિત સૌ નર નારી મેં તો તમે આગળ રે વાર્તા સત્ય કઈ છે મારી હું તો તમ કારણે રે આવ્યો ધામ તકી ધરી દે પ્રેમાનંદ નો રે વાલો વર્ષાય અમૃત મેં વળી સૌ સાંભળો રે મારી વાર્તા પરમયનું પરમ સિદ્ધાંત છે રે સૌનો હિતકારી સુખરૂપ સૌ હરિભક્ત ને રે જાવું હોય મારે ધામ તો મને સેવજો રે તમ શુદ્ધ ભાવે તઈ નિષ્કામ સૌ હરિભક્ત ને રે રહેવું હોય મારે પાસ તો તમે મેલજો રે મિથ્યા પંચ વિષયની આસ મુજ વિના જાણજો રે બીજા માયક સૌ આકાર પ્રીતિ તોડજો રે જૂઠા જાણી કુટુંબ પરિવાર સૌ તમે પાળજો રે સર્વે દડ કરી મારા નિયમ તમ પર લીજ છે રે ધર્મ ને ભક્તિ કરશે ક્ષેમ સંત હરિભક્ત ને રે કીધો શિક્ષા નો ઉપદેશ લટકા હાથ ના રે કરતા શોભે નટવર વેશ નિજન ઉપરે રે અમૃત વર્ષાયાનંદ કન જેમ સૌ ઔષધિ રે પ્રીતે પોષે પૂરણ ચંદ શોભે સંત મારે જેમ કઈ ઉડગણ માં ઉડરાજ ઈશ્વર ઉદય થયા રે કળીમાં કરવા જનના કાજ આપદ શીખશે રે કાશે સાંભળશે કરી પ્યાર પ્રેમાનંદ નો રે સ્વામી લેશે તેની સંભાળ ઓકે હાલો સ્ટાર્ટ બે મિનિટ ધૂન કરાય
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ नारायण नारायण स्वामी नारायण नारायण
नारायण नारायण स्वामी नारायण 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 स्वामी नारायण नारायण
नारायण नारायण स्वामी नारायण 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 स्वामी नारायण नारायण.
कंचा महाराज की जय.
Okay, who's handling Sabha? The earlier we do it. Tu be, hey, hey, આ મોટા નામ શું છે? રોજ નામ શું? પૂર્વા ધૂનકર 2 મિનિટ. અને હંભળા એટલું ભગવાન હંભળાવ જોઈએ. બોલ બેટા આવા હેડ બહુ થઈ ગયું. That's enough.
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ
નારાયણ નારાયણ સ્વામી નારાયણ 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 સ્વામી નારાયણ નારાયણ.
મહારાજની જય.
There's a lot more people we can't see. No, that's it. Really? That the rest of us are here. Should we start?
As I say
Dude,
I said you were in the car.
You know, Krisha's gonna lay in your lap. Oh,
Good
you can
job.
do it. Wait, let's go. Namanahu kadu, Kancha
Maharajni
Jai. Namanahu kadu, Vishwaparane, Kargari kahu, Bhakti palane. Araj mari urna karo, Vitapti mari shihari haro.
अवरे आसरो माने नती सर्व जानने सुख हुकती कठर काल माया प्रचोदनी सुखद श्यामला मुक्त नामनी अमरनापति आस तारी रसिक राख जो राजमाई Anantapadacho Dindayaracho Vishwanavibu Vimalamurati Uramagaso Nazarati Prabhu Duranathaso Adhikatasane Torinakhajo Brahmanandane Pasarakhajo Adasane Vara Pasarakhajo Ghanshyam Maharaj Ni Jai.
First, hello. First up is Raj with his speech.
Hello? Hello? Move the chair. Can you move the chair? No, that one's
Lift the chair quickly.
I'm just slow.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. It's good.
This doesn't work. Ghanshyam Maharaj. Jai. Maharaj had told us a lot about what it means to have instinct in other God. How much does a big Sith keep for his children? How much he keeps money and keeps a car. He keeps money and keeps a car, etc. After reading this scriptures and thinking, if we say in our mind that it happens, we are happy that this is the story of God. I have one question. What are the two things that the big Sith keeps for his children? Jignesh? What does like a mom or dad or a parent keep for their children? Yeah. Okay. Ghanshyam Maharaj Ni Jai.
Next is Pura with his speech. Sorry.
Yeah, bro, let's see you. Take the loud one. I want to see you.
Hello. Hello.
Ghanshyam Maharaj Ni Jai. One day Dharmadev was meditating. He saw during meditation that the image of his son instead of Bhagwan. In order to forget the image of his son, he offered many prayers to God, but he could not forget it. He was confused. He could not understand anything. He thought that perhaps two might have made some mistake. He became sad, left meditation, and then began to read Bhagwan Gita. After some time, Lord Ghanshyam smiled and said, "Oh, Father, you and my mother went under tub for 12,500 God years on the bank of the river. And as a result of that, you are able to see the image of your son. So why are you getting confused?" Meditating to this. Only saying this way, Lord Ghanshyam transformed himself into Almighty God with four hands. Not only that, but he also made Dharmadev to remember that his birth. Dharmadev at once stopped reading. He followed his two hands and began to pray. "O my son, God of all gods, you are the supreme Lord. It is because of your Maya that I forgot about your life. So, Lord Ghanshyam, forgive me that I might have never forgot about your life." Lord Ghanshyam became very much pleased and bowed down to Dharmadev. The conclusion of the story is that we should never forget that whatever happens in each universe is due to Lord Ghanshyam, because he is the only God who has divine and supreme power to do anything in each universe. So why did Dharmadev stop meditating?
Because he saw his son's image. he thought, like, he was wondering why he was seeing his son's image instead of God's. But at the end, Gansham like told him that his son is like the God of all gods.
Dharmadev thought that his son wasn't God because of his Maya and stuff. Ghanshyam Maharaj Ni Jai.
Next is Meet with his speech.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Alright. I have a short story about Alaya Kachar. Alaya Kachar was a chieftain of Ladakh village. He was once a devotee of Maharaj. Once he brought Maharaj to his own village. He saw a sadhu sitting under a tree. He had matted hair on his head. There was no cloth on his body, and his eyes were shut. Maharaj went on without caring the sadhu. But Alaya said, Maharaj, I will go to the sadhu for salutation. Maharaj smiled but did not say a single word. Alaya Kachar, in the company of one man, went there where the sadhu was sitting. Salutations to thee, said Alaya Kachar, and fell to his feet. But the sadhu had no effect. He didn't even open his eyes. Now Alaya wished to test the sadhu. He told his companion, this appears to be the greatest and most powerful saint. I had great desire to have darshan of such a yogi. That desire is fulfilled today. I have vowed to offer 5 rupees to such a yogi. His companion said, then offer him the gift of 5 rupees. Alaya said, I would offer, but where to place it? There is no bowl, nor bag. Had there been a bowl, I would put it in there. Had there been a bag, I would have placed it in there. There is no other disciple of this sadhu, otherwise I would have offered it to him. Here are the rupees, but where to offer? Someone would steal it and put them on the ground. Saying this, he rounded the rupees in his hand. The sadhu was hearing all this, but kept his eyes shut. At once he opened his mouth to me to say to put the rupees in his mouth. Now Alekachar was sure that the sadhu was a hypocrite, a pretender. He had put on a disguise to cheat people to earn money. If he be a true saint, he would not be tempted by money. With lightning speed, Alekachar took some dust from the ground and threw it in the open mouth of the sadhu and said, hypocrite has dust in his mouth. Be on such a hypocrite. Then Alekachar narrated the whole story of the sadhu. On hearing the story, Maharaj said, I have been roaming the country for the last 7 years, and I have witnessed such scenes everywhere. After witnessing such scenes, I have come to know who could be a true saint. I want to show the world the true saint. So we have laid down the strictest principles for our sadhus and declared, whoever wants to see the real sadhu or the true sadhu, he should visit our satsang and make sure of himself. Inshallah.
G.M.S.M and Meet, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. What is the moral of the story?
The moral of the story, Maharaj basically says that hypocrites can be found anywhere. People who pretend to be satsangis for any which reason. But if you want to experience true satsang and to be in the company of true satsangis, you want to be in his satsang, where the strictest of principles are applied.
It's basically about true satsang, right?
Yeah.
It's like what you want in your life. You know what I'm saying? You can ask for anything, but true satsang, it's very difficult to get, very hard to get. You know what I'm saying? And we are all lucky that we have gotten the true satsang where Maharaj એમના હરિભક્તો એમના સંતો આપણી જોડે આવી રીતે સત્સંગ કરે છે, રાઈટ? એટલે
Yeah.
I think the today's Vachanamrit is about true satsang going to be too. So, pay attention, okay, kids? Jai Satsang, Jai Satsang.
Yes.
I call the next person? Next up is Dharma. And whoever's online, can you guys like speak up a little louder? Because I can't really hear it here. I'm a little deaf.
Yes, I know. I have a story from the Utteshamrut. There was a big merchant who had 100 oxen. He used these oxen to transport his goods. The merchant had a worker who tended to the oxen and used them to transport goods from village to village. The merchant told the worker that he wasn't allowed to go to sleep until all the oxen go to sleep so they don't wander off. The worker set off to go to the village he was supposed to go to, and at night he waited for all the oxen to go to sleep. But throughout the night, when some oxen fell asleep, others woke up. So by morning, 99 of the oxen were asleep, and only one remained awake. So the worker tried to make the one oxen go to sleep, and in doing so, he accidentally woke up all the other oxen. So the worker got no sleep. This continued for 7 days until he finally got to his destination. So what this is saying is that in this world, all our jobs and problems will be there for all 365 days of the year. And even if the year had 390 days, you still wouldn't be able to do it all. Because when one task is finished, another task arises. That is why Gunati Danand Swami writes that householders who think that they'll do Bhagwan Unam when all their tasks are done will never have time to do Bhagwan Unam. So people should set aside time for Bhagwan, even if they have to sacrifice time for other tasks to do it. Yes, Amen.
Yeah. The story was about how I don't remember the guy's name, but he kept on going places to do tasks. But like when he finished one, another one would pop up. So another one would pop up. So he said, if you do Bhagwan's Nam, then you won't have really any tasks to do.
So the man and so there so there was a man and like his he would try to get one of his oxes to go to sleep, I think it was, and he so he would keep on trying, but in one ox he would try to make it go to sleep, but it wouldn't go to sleep, and he would make the others wake up, so there would be more tasks. So he could have sleep.
That we should
Like us trying to get Mooks to go to Akshardham because you're gonna have keep on having problems that come in your way, and you had to solve each and every single one to get there.
What did you say? I didn't understand.
Huh? Me? What did he say?
It's like us trying to get to Maharaj's Akshardham because we're gonna keep on getting problems that try to stop us, and we had to like overcome them one by one.
It's like how I did my Vashramut, how the first task was to like get Vedakya and Atmanishta, and then the second like task that comes up is like you need strength of Yan or love.
Love, right? Right, but in order to get there, you have to work, right? So in life, we will always get obstacles, right? We're always going to have problems. Now, how are you going to deal with it? You can't wait for problem to be solved in order to do things for a moksha. While you're solving the problem, while you hate the problem, like while you're studying, while you're working, while you're driving, while you're going home, while you're playing, if you think about Bhagwan, then you are also solving the problem, and you're also solving the problem to go to Akshardham. But if you only solve the problem for world, and if you don't solve anything for Bhagwan Akshardham, then it's not going to happen. This ox, all oxes are never going to sit down. They're never going to do that. You will always have problems. You will always have obstacles in your life. Right? So in order to also do for Akshardham, you have to do both. You have to do both. While you're store, while you're at home, while you're at work, while you're at school, while you're at, right? You're never going to have, it's not going to happen. Like, everything's not going to happen. Okay, I'm going to solve all my problems, then I'll do Bhagwan budget. It's not going to happen.
Everybody, you can also take a look at it. You're going to have a lot of sankalp vikalp, and you're going to say, well, I'm going to wait for it, but you have to start doing bhajan. You're going to have sankalp vikalp, but bring sankalp vikalp towards Bhagwan sankalp vikalp.
Say it in a speaker so everybody will hear.
See, we're going to have sankalp vikalp of continuously. It's like ox. Not all of them are going to sit. But what we need to do is we need to do sankalp vikalp towards Bhagavan instead of Mayana sankalp vikalp, kya alokna sankalp vikalp. Divert all ours towards Bhagwan ni bhakti, towards Bhagwan na vicharo continuous.
Next is Sona.
Just nice. So today I have a Haribhakt Charitra, and it's about Jiva Kachar. So Jiva Kachar was from Sarangpur, and he was a very Dayalu Bhagat, and everyone in Sarangpur knew this. And like if he saw someone who was in distress, he would feel bad, and then he would do anything he could to help them. And he would turn people who had really bad habits, like doing black magic, stealing, like smoking, drinking, doing things like that, he would turn them into satsangis by telling them the Mahima Maharaj and telling them about Maharaj. And Jiva Kachar would also like keep calling Maharaj to Sarangpur so that he could increase the amount of satsang and the nishtay that the satsangis had there. So one evening, it was around like nighttime or after dinner, all the satsangis were sitting in sabha, and Jiva Kachar in the middle of sabha was like, Maharaj, like, we have one prarthana for you. And Maharaj was like, okay, like anything you say. So Jiva Kachar was like, can you go to everyone's house to eat for lunch tomorrow? And Maharaj, he had somewhere to be the next day. So he was like, I am in a bit of a hurry, but I will do that for all satsangis and for you. So he said that tomorrow I'll go to everyone's house for lunch. And all the satsangis were like sitting there wondering like, oh, what should we make? Like, how's Maharaj gonna be at all of our houses at once? Like, how is that gonna work? But they just took Maharaj for his word, and they began worrying about what they should cook because Maharaj was coming to their house, and they wanted to impress him and make sure that like he was well fed when he was there. So they were worrying about that and like kind of thinking in their heads. And Maharaj already knew their sankalp, so he was like, he was like, you make whatever you want, I'll eat it, and it'll be okay. So then Maharaj, he went to everyone's house for lunch, and he has many people as there were. He had that many swarups. So at once, he was able to be at everyone's house. And all the satsangis who were newer, they like had even more nishtay in Bhagwan and became even better satsangis. And from seeing this lila, there was people in the Sarangpur who weren't satsangis, and they were like, wow, Maharaj, like he's the real thing. So they became satsangis. And Maharaj liked to make people satsangis. He would do like a little puja and like would give them pani and like spray water on them. But he like called everyone into one mandir, and he just like took a bunch of water and sprayed it on everyone so that they could all become satsangis at once. So basically, the moral of the story is that Maharaj will like do anything he can to make us happy, and he's always wanting to like have us increase our faith in Bhagwan and in satsang. Insha Maharaj and Jai.
Did everybody understood the story? Ramya, did you understand the story? You did or you did not? No, can you say it in speaker so everybody could hear, because other kids can't hear?
I got some points of the story. Like I understood some points, but then some points I like kind of got lost on.
What did you get lost? I mean, what did you understand? Can you tell what you understood, and then other kids can put it?
So like he went to like everyone's house and he made like everyone happy at once, because like it was important to him that like all his satsangis and everyone was important. But then I kind of got lost in everything.
Who's he?
Janabai.
Who?
I don't know his name.
Jiva Khacher?
Yeah.
So Jiva Khacher took multiple swarup. He went to
no.
everybody's house simultaneously?
No.
Who did?
Maharaj.
Right. What town did he go to?
I don't know.
Sarangpur. Right? So Kusangi also became a धीरे धीरे सत्संगी थया को हो महाराज ये भगवान छे, right? Right? Go ahead. Okay, thanks.
Next up is Isha with the speech.
Hey man, I'm doing a Yani Swami Nuvat. Yani Swami Nuvat. Okay. So one day, Maharaj, he was getting ready to go to Vartal, and he told Dada Kachar and a bunch of Haribhakt, he's like, go get your horse and we'll all go to Vartal. So then Dada Kachar and his Haribhaktas, they all went to the stables to get their horse. And when they came back, like when they got there, they all came back, but like they were all sitting on their horse when they came back. But when Dada Kachar came back, he was walking back. So then when he got back, Maharaj, like he yelled at him and he's like, everybody came back sitting on these horses, but why were you like standing here? Why are you walking back when I told you to come back on a horse and get ready to go to Bertha? And then Dada Kachar's like, well, when we went up to the stables, my mama, who is Geradar.
What is that?
Geradar. That's his name.
How do you spell it?
Geladadar. Geladhadar. It's Geladar.
His mama, right?
Okay, well, anyway, that was his name, and that's Dada Kaj's mama. And he said, and when Dada Kaj was saying that my mama told me that you go back to Maharaj, and since you're taking my horse and my horse is another stable, I'll get the horse and I'll come back to Maharaj. You go to Maharaj and then I'll drop off the horse there and then you can go. So then he told Maharaj this, and Maharaj, so then his mama brought the horse. Well, when he finished telling Maharaj this, Dada Kachar's mama had come back with the horse. So then Dada Kachar got onto the horse. And then Maharaj told Sura Kachar, he's like, look, my monkey, my horse, he can fly like an eagle. He's like just like an eagle. He was comparing it. And then Sura Kachar was like, eagles have wings and your horse doesn't. And Maharaj is like, my horse has wings. And then he like showed everybody, like he like used his powers and he showed everybody that Maharaj is, he had like, you know those Pegasus, yes. They like, I can't remember them. They have wings, and so he showed the monkey as that. Jason,
I mean, whenever you tell a story, or anybody tell a story, you should have a like purpose for the story. You should have at the end some type of something you take it with you, conclusion, and something you take it with you. You know what I'm saying? Means something you can understand and something you wanna like change in your life or in everybody's life. You know what I'm saying? Like, પેલી આક્સની સ્ટોરી કીધી રાઈટ 99 આક્સ બેસાડવાની એની અંદર શું થયું કે you learn something, you know, everybody knows what to do and we learn. So therefore, you know, સ્વામીએ આપણને બધી જે બધી મોટી ભાગની સ્ટોરીઓ આપી છે ને એ સ્ટોરીની અંદર there is some meaning behind it. You know what I'm saying? કે તું ગમે તે સ્ટોરી લે ઉપદેશામૃતની અંદરથી, and that's how it should be. આપણે તે જે સ્ટોરી લઈએ તો આપણે we have to relate that story to our life and able to, you know, say, okay, this is what I learned from this story and this is what this story is trying to tell me. You know what I'm saying? So at the end, when we say the story, we should come up with some type of conclusion, summary, and we should say, okay, what did we learn and what we should do, you know, to improve ourselves. Okay? Jai Swaminarayan.
Next up, I have a bhajan. घनश्याम महाराज नी जय। तेरी सांवरी सूरत छतदार के मन हर प्राण हरे।
तेरी सांवरी सूरत छतदार के मन हर प्राण हरे।
चल तमरो रे हसी चित चोरे।
तमेरो रे हसी चित चोरे।
चल तमरो रे हसी चित चोरे।
चल तमेरो रे हसी चित चोरे।
थारे बस करनी सबनार के मन हर प्राण हरे।
सांवरी सूरत छतदार के मन हर प्राण हरे।
जर कसी चीरा पेरे पट पीरा।
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 हारे तेरी उर बीच मोती उदहार के मन हर प्राण हरे।
तेरी सांवरी सूरत छतदार के मन हर प्राण हरे।
नंद के सलूना जाने को चुटूना।
नंद के सलूना जाने का चुटोना।
नंद के सलूना जाने का चुटूना।
नंद के सलूना जाने का चुटोना।
हारे मेरो मन बस कीनो यार के मन हर प्राण हरे।
तेरी सांवरी सूरत छतदार के मन हर प्राण हरे।
प्रेमानंद तारी हरि कृष्ण छवि।
प्रेमानंद हरि कृष्ण छवि।
प्रेमानंद तारी हरि कृष्ण छवि।
प्रेमानंद तेरी हरि कृष्ण छवि।
हारे नित्य राखूत उर बीचदार के मन हर प्राण हरे।
तेरी सांवरी सूरत छतदार के मन हर प्राण हरे।
तेरी सांवरी सूरत छतदार के मन हर प्राण हरे।
तेरी सांवरी सूरत छतदार के मन हर प्राण हरे।
घनश्याम महाराज नी जय। Next up is Krush with his speech.
This one. Okay, so I have a Haribhakt Charitra. So there was once this king, and his name was Siddhavallabhrai. And this king, he would always have santo and people coming to his town. and he would always like take care of them. So whenever there would be like a bunch of santos coming, he would like take care of them. He would feed them, make sure they have enough food. They would give them a place to stay. And once when Maj was going by, um Maj sat by a tree to do when he was like, when he was going around everywhere, he went there to sit by a tree, and he knew about this king, and he knew that there was a bunch of santos that were coming next, and that they weren't like good santos, they were like bad santos that like weren't really nice. And so what Maj did was he made it rain for 15 days, and everybody that was like doing like outside doing stuff or something, they would all go away because of the rain and everything. Like they would stay for probably like 2 days and they would go away, and Maj would be the only one that would still be there. And this king, he saw that, and he knew that Maj was like a good son or something. So, huh? True son, yeah. So he went up to Maj, he did his puja and everything, and Maj said to just remember him. And so Maj left to keep going on his Vanvishan. So then his entire life, this king, he didn't think of Maj like this huge god or anything. He just thought of Maj as like a santo or something. So he always thought of Maj as a santo. He didn't think of him as being any like big or anything. So when his time came to leave his body, he never really thought that was Maj, and he just thought it was a santo. So Maj gave him another life. So he came back on this earth as Shivlashit. And so does anyone know how big of a like Haribak's Shivlashit is? Yeah. He's just really big. Like he would always concentrate on Maj and everything. So like there was once when he was doing puja, and there was a pot of ghee on the side, and like there was a bunch of them, and they weren't like stacked correctly or anything, so they fell, and there was ghee all over the floor. And Shiv Lashit, he was just paying attention to his puja, and he didn't notice that these pots of ghee fell everywhere. So then when I think it was his dad, when he came in, he saw the ghee on the floor and everything, and he started yelling at Shivlashit like all this ghee fell, and then you didn't do anything about it. And Shivlashit was like, he was like, you're sitting right over there doing your puja and everything. And Shivlashit was, I'm here doing my puja, but when I do my puja, I don't pay attention to anything. I don't pay attention to the world. I just pay attention to Maj.
Oh, but how does that happen? How do you do that? You forgot the main key point. There is a one key point in order to, when you're doing puja, mansi puja, dhyan, ये वक्त जो की पॉइंट याद रखे तो થાય એવું નહીતર ના થાય. What is it, Jignesh? Go ahead. No. Does anybody want to answer? Any kids? How, when you do puja, when you do mansi puja, when you do dhyan, when you do regular puja, if you think like this, then you will be able to concentrate in Bhagwan. Go ahead. That's good. You're getting a little bit close in there. Yeah. Anybody else? Go ahead. That's exactly what he was doing. He was saying that I am a soul, and he was also thinking of this whole world and everything. It's just illusion. You know what I'm saying? Because anything you see in this world, anything you see it's going to be like, what's going to happen is going to be destroyed, right? Up to from here to 14 lok, everything is going to be destroyed. And only thing will be left is what? And right, આપણો soul and Maharaj બે જ રહેવાના. એવી રીતે think about it a lot. So if lot of think કરે એના વિશે, એટલે he slowly forgets everything else and he just concentrate on Bhagwan. That's what he was doing. And when you do that, then you can also concentrate like that in Bhagwan too, right? When you have a very important exam to give, Okay, let's say tomorrow you have like very, and from that exam, if you fail, you will not be able to go further. Then you have to concentrate very hard, right? Then even though there is a noise out surrounding you, you won't listen to that noise. You will think about studying because it's important to you. સેમ થિંગ જો આપણને મોક્ષની ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ હોય અને આપણને જે મહારાજે કીધું એ જો ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ હોય તો આપણે એવી રીતે કોન્સન્ટ્રેટ, આપણે પૂજા કરતી વખતે, માનસિક પૂજા કરતી વખતે, ધ્યાન કરતી વખતે આપણે એવી રીતે વિચારીએ કે આઈ એમ નોટ ધ બોડી, આઈ એમ અ સોલ એન્ડ this surrounding whole world is just illusion. It's not real. That's how you think, then you can do that, right? Right? Barabar. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just fine.
Wait, there are a couple more story about Shivlal Sheth. You should. I thought you were going to talk about Shivlal Sheth.
Not that much.
There is a one more story like this. When he was like a, back then. Right now we have a car, right? Back then there used to be like bull cart, right, where your bulls are carrying you in this cart. So he was going with his father. His father. Remember, these two guys. Shivlal Sheth and his fatherનું નામ શું હતું? Bhagadoshi. They are the richest. They were very rich back then. They had like over, like $1 million, more than that. Right now it's million, but over there, that back then it's like million is lot. Like billions of dollars. એટલા બધા કહીએ તો ચાલે. એટલા બધા પૈસા હતા. તે બંને જણા રસ્તામાં જતા હતા ને, તે શિવલાલ શેઠ હતા ને, આપણા માટે છે ભક્તો, હો. શિવલાલ શેઠ હતા ને, એ શું કરે, આંખો મીચીને ભગવાનને યાદ કરે, ધ્યાન કર્યા કરે, માળા ફેરવા કરે, એવું કર્યા કરે. અને એમના ભગાદોશી હતા ને, એ રસ્તામાં જાય ને તો રસ્તામાં શું આવે? What's when you go on your way, when you drive, what's in your way? The building હોય, fields હોય, farm field ને એ બધું હોય ને, તો એ શું કે, એ ઘડીએ ઘડીએ એ બધું જોવે, ભગાદોશીને બોલ્યા કરે કે આ સોનાની એવી જમીન છે, આની અંદર there is going to be so much crop you can get, you get so much money out of it, and this land is even better, or this is not good one, this has a more problem, this you can grow like wheats in this land and you can make a lot more money, or you can, what I'm saying, all that type of gramya vartao karta tha. Gramya varta means what? Talk that has nothing to do with Maharaj. You know what I'm saying? Anything you talk, basketball, coronavirus, anything you can talk is basically, it's ગ્રામ્ય વાર્તા. ભગવાનનું ના હોય, ગ્રામ્ય વાર્તા. તે આખો દિવસ એવી રીત કરે, તે પછી શિવલાલ શેઠને આવી રીતે ધ્યાન કરતા જોયા ને, આવી રીતે ભજન કરતા જોયા ને, એટલે એમના ભગાદોશી કે તને આમાં કઈ ઇન્ટરેસ્ટ નથી? તે કે શું કીધું એમને કે even if I want to have an interest in it, what is it going to get me? What is it going to get you? Right? It's basically waste of time. જો આપણે ટાઈમનું વેસ્ટ કરીએ તો આપણો મોક્ષ ના થાય. આપણે જો રીચ થવું હોય તો આપણે, if you just start spending, you make money and you start spending it all. You make money and you spend it. You make money, will you ever become rich? Right. So same thing here. આપણે જો ટાઈમ વેસ્ટ કરીએ, ભગવાનનો ટાઈમ વેસ્ટ, ભગવાનમાં ટાઈમ ના પસાર કરીએ તો આપણે આપણો મોક્ષ ના કરી શકીએ. એટલે આપણે ટાઈમ કઈ રીતે ભગવાનમાં કાઢવો, વાપરવો, especially when you're going in car, when you have nothing to do, listen to katha or listen to ભગવાનનું ભજન, કાં તો ભગવાનનું ધ્યાન કરો, કેવી રીતે, but don't waste time doing things that's not necessary, basically unnecessary. It's like waste, right? See, there are lots of story like this. One time, Shivlal Sheth was walking on a market, and એમને કંઈક sneeze આવી, તે જોરથી છીક ખાધી. તે છીક ખાધી, ઉપર જોયું તો there was a building. તો કે વાવ, આવડું મોટું બિલ્ડિંગ કોણે બનાવ્યું? 3-4 સ્ટોરીનું બિલ્ડિંગ હતું. આવડું મોટું બિલ્ડિંગ કોણે બનાવ્યું? તો કે come on, you walk on this road every day, and it's been here for 6 months and you did not even know.
You've been walking on this road to work for like 6 months and you haven't realized that
building has been built here.
Right. How did that happen?
And he was like, whenever I go to work or anything, I'm always doing dhyan and
એટલે
thinking about
ભગવાનનું નામ
Maharaj.
દેતા દેતા ભગવાનને યાદ કરતા કરતા હું વોક કરું, જેટલું જરૂર હોય એટલું જ જોવાનું, વધારે જોવાનું નહીં. એટલે એટલા બધા મોટા ભક્ત હતા શિવલાલ શેઠ. બરાબર ને? આપણે એટલા મોટા ભક્ત થવું પડશે. જય સ્વામિનારાયણ.
Just man.
Next is Ram with a bhajan.
G.M.S.M. તમારી મૂર્તિ વિના મારે નાત રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
મારી મૂર્તિ વિના મારા નાથ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
હું તો એ જ માંગુ છું જ્યોતિ હાથ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
હું તો એ જ માંગુ છું જોડી હાથ રે મને આપશો માં.
તમારી મૂર્તિ વિના મારે નાત રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
તમારી મૂર્તિ વિના મારા નાથ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
આપો તમારી જંગનો સંગ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં. હે મને આપશો માં.
આપો તમારા જનનો સંગ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં. હે મને આપશો માં.
મારે જીવન જ મંગરે બીજું મને આપશો માં. મારી મૂર્તિ વિના મારે નાત રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
તમારી મૂર્તિ વિના મારે નાથ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
હું તો એ જ મંગુ છું જ્યોતિ હાથ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
હું તો એ જ માંગુ છું જોડી હાથ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
તમારી મૂર્તિ વિના મારે નાત રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
તમારી મૂર્તિ વિના મારા નાથ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
મારા ઉન્મ કરો નિવાસ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં. મને આપશો માં.
મારા ઉરમાં કરો નિવાસ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં. હે મને આપશો માં.
મને રાખ્યો રસ્યા તમે પાસ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં. તમારી મૂર્તિ વિના મારે નાત રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
તમારી મૂર્તિ વિના મારા નાથ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
હું તો એ જ માંગુ છું જ્યોતિ હાથ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
હું તો એ જ માંગુ છું જોડી હાથ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
તમારી મૂર્તિ વિના મારે નાત રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
તમારી મૂર્તિ વિના મારે નાથ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
કરો તરમ વિદાસ દૂર રે બીજું મને આપશો માં. મને આપશો માં.
કરો
વાસન દૂર રે
બીજું મને આપશો માં. હે મને આપશો માં.
રાખો પ્રેમાનંદ નો જૂર રે બીજું મને આપશો માં. તમારી મૂર્તિ વિના મારે નાત રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
તમારી મૂર્તિ વિના મારે નાથ રે બીજું મને આપશો માં.
તમારી મૂર્તિ વિના મારે નાત રે બીજું મને આપશો માં. સજાન સ્વામી મહારાજની જય.
Next is Aditi with the Vachamrut.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I have Ferdinand and Biju, Understanding Bhagwan's Greatness. In the Samvat year 1882, on the evening of Jesh Sud 6th, 11th June 1826, Swamiji Chadananji Maharaj was sitting on a low wooden seat in the courtyard of the Mandir of Sri Vasudev Narayan Radhakachar's Dargah in Gujarat. He was wearing a white cage and had covered himself with a white chadar. He had also tied a black bordered white bag around his head, and tassels of mudra flowers had been inserted in the bag. At that time, a sabha of munis as well as Haribhaks from various places has gathered before him. Then Sriji Maharaj posed a question. One sees that the world is perishable and that the Chaitanya separates from the body and leaves it. However, the predominance of the world does not diminish from one's heart. Despite thoroughly believing Bhagwan to be an ocean of bliss, one's mind still does not focus on Bhagwan. Also, satsang does not become predominant in one's heart, and one cannot eradicate love for wealth, women, and other pleasures of the world. What can be the reason for this? So, what's Maharaj's question here? So he's saying that we realize that this world and our bodies are perishable, and we know that ultimately the Chaitanya or consciousness is going to leave the body, but we still hold attachment for the world. And Maharaj is trying to get us to see the discrepancy between how we view the world and what we hold more important right now versus what we know to be true. And we know that in the end, the only thing that's going to mean anything is our relationship with Bhagwan. And we know that worshiping Bhagwan is what's going to bring us true happiness in the world and afterwards. But we still can't let go of our worldly attachments. So Bhagwan's question is, why can't we do that? Thereupon, Muktanaswami replied, one lacks vairagya. As a result, one cannot eradicate the predominance of the world from one's heart, nor can one develop love for Bhagwan. Shiji Maharaj then clarified, it is true that there is a deficiency in vairagya, but it appears to me that the inclination which forms as one practices satsang remains as it is forever. A different inclination does not develop. By practicing satsang, that inclination may be nourished, but the inclination itself remains unchanged. Whenever one strength...
धीरे धीरे बोल, धीरे धीरे, एकदम फास्ट ना बोले, otherwise we won't be able to follow you.
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. By practicing satsang, that inclination may be nourished, but the inclination remains unchanged. Whenever one's strength is being formed, one's mind becomes disturbed in the process of formation. Just as the mind of an extremely lustful person is disoriented by lust, and the mind of an extremely angry person is disoriented by greed, similarly, one's mind becomes disoriented in the process of developing his strength. Then, during the disturbance, whichever strength develops is the strength that remains. Therefore, such as lust or anger, if one contemplates about one's own inclination, the influence of the vicious natures is lessened. So, when Bhagwan asked the question, Muktanand Swami suggested that a lack of vairagya is what causes us to hold worldly attachment. And Maharaj agreed that a lack of vairagya plays a part, but he goes on to say that when each of us practice satsang, we develop an inclination towards how we please Bhagwan as sons. And Maharaj says that this inclination doesn't change as we continue to practice satsang, but as we form the strength in our inclination, our minds become anger, greed, and pride, and this prevents us from fully realizing the opportunity that we've been given, as in this human life and this satsang, and developing our detachment from the world. So, to combat this, Maharaj says that a wise person recognizes these disturbances and contemplates them, remembering that I'm a satsangi and I can't let these bad influences distract me because I have a higher goal to achieve, which would be getting to Aksharam and serving Maharaj. And then, Maharaj continues to say, in addition, just as a grahast feels repentant if one experiences lustful thoughts on seeing one's attractive mother, sister, or daughter, similarly, one should feel regretful when objects other than satsang become predominant in one's heart. If one does not feel similarly remorseful on entertaining thoughts for indecent objects, then satsang does not remain predominant in one's heart. In fact, the fruit of all spiritual activities is satsang. In the 11th Skand of Srimad Bhagavad, Shri Krishna Bhagwan says to Uddhav, I am not as pleased by Ashav thoughts.
Okay, Right, that's good, Now, this whole thing Maharaj is saying is just a thought, you know what I'm saying, in your mind. આપણા જે થોટ્સ છે ને એના લીધે થઈને જ તે આપણે what I'm saying, we don't keep our આપણે કેમ કે બુદ્ધિ સ્ટ્રેટ રહેતી નથી આપણા થોટ્સના લીધે, what I'm saying. જો એના what is the most important thing, what I'm saying, એટલે ધારો કે જોયું, right, all of us we see કે આ જગત નાશવંત છે અને એને કીધું જગત નાશવંત દેખે છે and Chaitanya, our consciousness is alive, what I'm saying, and we know that it goes away. And we know that the જગત ખોટું છે, આ બધું આપણે જાણીએ છીએ, પણ છતાંય તે આપણે જે જગત છે ને એ ઓછું થતું નથી અને ભગવાન આપણામાં મુખ્ય થતા નથી, મેઇન નથી થતા. એનું કારણ પૂછ્યું, વોટ ઇઝ ધ રીઝન? તો મુક્તાનંદ સ્વામીએ શું જવાબ આપ્યો એનો? ઇઝ લેક ઇન વૈરાગ્ય, રાઈટ? એવું કીધું, વૈરાગ્ય એટલે what is vairagya means?
You're not attached to anything except Bhagwan.
Good. You're unattached to anything except the Bhagwan. You know what I'm saying? And vairagya kehavaય. And would you accept somebody? Right? આની અંદર મહારાજ આપણને એમ કહે છે કે while you're doing satsang, you know what I'm saying, you build some characteristic, right? Now while you're building the characteristic, તમારા જે ખરાબ જે કેરેક્ટરિસ્ટિક હોય ને એને ટેક ઓવર કરી લે છે અને સત્સંગને મુખ્ય થવા દેતા નથી, રાઈટ? અદિતિ છે ને, રાઈટ?
Yeah.
Did you understand what I'm saying? While you're building the character, while you are building the characteristic, સત્સંગની અંદર જે કેરેક્ટરિસ્ટિક હોય ને આપણા જે જે સમજવાના, એની અંદર આપણે જે એને શું કે અંગ કહે છે, આપણે જે અંગ બંધાવવું જોઈએ ભગવાન ભજવાનું, ભક્તિ કરવાનું, એ બંધાતા બંધાતા આપણા આપણાની અંદર આપણા જે ખરાબ દોષો હોય, કામ, ક્રોધ, લોભ જે કહીએ છીએ, એ અંદર આપણને ડિસ્ટર્બ કરે છે. એન્ડ ધેન વી ડોન્ટ અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડ વોટ્સ રાઈટ એન્ડ વોટ્સ રોંગ. વિભ્રાંત એટલે ખબર પડી? It's like when you have a jaundice, ની અંદર આપણને શું દેખાય આઉટસાઇડ બધું? What type of things you look at outside? When you look at outside, what do you see when you have jaundice? Sky, anything. When you look at it, anything, what happens? It looks like yellow to you when you have jaundice. When you look at outside, is it really yellow? It's not, but you still see yellow. You know what I'm saying? એમાં આપણા જે ખરાબ દોષો છે ને એના લીધે થઈને આપણને જે ટ્રુ સમજવા દેતા નથી, આપણા જે કેરેક્ટરિસ્ટિક હોય ને, રાઈટ? અને શું કીધું આની અંદર? એક વસ્તુ બહુ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ કીધી, એટલા હાટું મેં આ સ્ટાફ કરાવડાવ્યું. શું કીધું? કે સત્સંગ કરતા આપણને જે બીજું પદાર્થ પ્રદાન થાય ત્યારે એવી દાજ થવી જોઈએ. Means, we should feel, really upset when you have, when you see anything, when you have anything, more important than Maharaj in your heart. And if you see, let's say, it's difficult, but it's true in reality. You know what I'm saying? Right? Anything that you see outside or anything you have, any thoughts comes to your mind, and if those thoughts and if those things are not related to Maharaj or it's nothing to do with Maharaj, then we should feel really bad. But we don't. We think, what do we think? It's okay. It's not that bad, right? That's exactly what the problem is, Maharaj says. Because what is satsang? What is a satsang at? Does anybody want to say what is the satsang at? What is a satsang means? Any kids? And where is the satsang at? Go ahead, Ramya. Go ahead. Everybody has to say something here, you know what I'm saying? Otherwise, we won't be able to make progress. Okay, Ramya says, we think we are with Hari Bhakto and Maharaj ni vato kariye and satsang kehvay, right? Okay, what do you say, Vraj?
All the Hari Bhaktas like gather up and do bhajan and bhakti for Maharaj.
Okay. What about first Jia? Good. Jignesh?
આપણે મહારાજનો સંગ કરીએ.
મહારાજનો સંગ કરીએ. Good. Krush?
Where Hari Bhakts come together, they associate with each other and learn about Maharaj.
Good. Purva?
How to get to Akshardham.
Go to Akshardham?
How to get to
How to
Akshardham.
get Akshardham? Okay. Sue and Nams? No? Okay, Isha? Say it in speaker. Speaker.
Oh, to learn more about Maharaj.
Learn about Maharaj.
Yeah.
There is a definition.
True company, the practice of associating with one sant, other satsangis, the Atma, in the sacred sastras, and also observing vartmans and niyams. Also refers to the sampradaya, which is the presence of good company.
Right. So four things ની આપણે જો company કરીએ તો એને સત્સંગ કર્યો કહેવાય, right? Okay, what is the first one? ના, Maharaj. Maharaj, પછી second one? Go. So, second one is so. Third one? Santo, true saints. And fourth one? Shastra. Why do I say it in this manner or this order? Because true satsang is only two things, Maharaj and so, that's it. But who will teach us this? Santo, right? And Santo became number 3. And when Santo is not there, who's going to teach us? Shastra, right? That's why આ 4 વસ્તુ કરીએ ને ત્યારે આપણે સત્સંગ કર્યો કહેવાય, રાઈટ? હવે શું કહેવા માંગુ છું કે આપણા જીવનની અંદર આના સિવાય બીજી કોઈ વાત થાય ને તો આપણને અપસેટ થઈ જવું જોઈએ આપણું માઇન્ડ. આના સિવાય આપણને anything we think about it. And why we diverge? It's because of our bad characteristic હોય ને. કયા bad characteristic? કામી, ક્રોધી, લોભી, આવા બધા characteristic હોય ને આની અંદર આપણને hurt કરે સત્સંગની અંદર રાખવા માટે. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
In the 11th skanda of Srimad Bhagavad, Shri Krishna Bhagavan says to Uddhav, I am not as pleased by Ashtanga Yoga, thoughts of Sankhya, spiritual study, Tap, Tyag, Yoga, Yagna, and Vrats, as I am pleased by Satsang. In fact, it appears to me that all sanskars one has gathered from previous lives have been attained through association with the Satpurush. Even today, those who obtain sanskars do so through association with the Satpurush. One who has attained the association of such a Satpurush, but still is unable to understand matters as they really are, should be known to have an extremely dull intellect. As for me, I consider the Sabha Satsangis to be far greater than the Sabhas of Shvetdvip, Golok, Vaikunt, and Vadikashram, and I see that all of these bhakts as being extremely luminous. I take an oath on this Sabha of Sadhus that there is not even the slightest lie in this matter. Why do I have to take an oath in this way? Well, it is because not everyone understands such divinity, nor can they see it. That is why I have to take an oath.
Okay. શું શ્રી કૃષ્ણ ભગવાને શું કીધું? કે all type of sadhan, all type of things you do, what is the most important? Satsang beats everybody. Ashtang Yoga. You know what Ashtang Yoga is? Does anybody want to say what Ashtang Yoga is? Means, you know, Mike ma bolna.
The practice of focusing and quieting the fluctuations of the mind through various physical and mental practices, and ultimately aiming for the yoga, the union with Bhagwan. The 8 progressive steps of Ashtanga Yoga are Yam, restraint; Niyam, observance; Asan, seat or posture; Pranayam, controlling the prans; Pratyar, withdrawal; Dharana, concentration; Dhyan, meditation; and Samadhi, trance. The first 4 steps are physical practices, whereas the last 4 steps are mental practices.
Right. Satsang is even more important than Ashtanga Yoga. Think about it. How important Satsang must be, you know. Sankhya Vichar. Sankhya Vichar means what? Sankhya Vichar. Sankhya kidun. Sankhya thoughts.
A philosophy that analyzes the tattvas and states that there are 25 tattvas founded by Kapil Dev.
Right. એટલે આ બધું નાશવંત છે ને બધું વિચારીએ ને એને સાંખ્ય કહેવાય. શાસ્ત્ર પઠન means, you know, listening, you know, studying the shastras. Tap means penance, right? Tyag means, you know, unattachment, or right. Yog means yoga આપણે કરીએ બધા લોકો એ, you know. યજન અને વ્રતાદિક એટલે કે આ બધું કરીએ એના બધા કરતાથી હું I don't બધા કરતા હું સત્સંગે કરીને વશ થઉં છું. You know, satsang is the most important. You know, satsang thi I am very happy. But satsang does not mean we sit down together and do satsang. I mean, it is, but it's compromise of multiple things. Like when you see car, what is car? Is tire is a car? You take the tire out and you say, this is a car. Would you say it's car? Okay, you take the body out and would you say it's car? You take engine out, would you say it's car? Okay, you take a transmission out, would you say it's car? What is left? Nothing is there now. How can you say it's car? Understand? Car is something that's made up of multiple things.
You can say it used to be a car.
Right. Right. So what I'm trying to say is, what is satsang then? Satsang is not only one thing. Satsang is, this is the one thing, but then you go by yourself, go to home, and when you know, walking and you think about Bhagwan, that becomes satsang. When you think about your soul, it's a you know, satsang. When you read a shastra, it also becomes satsang. When you talk to santo and Bhagwan related hoy, so it's a satsang kehvay, khabar padi. Satsang doesn't happen here, but satsang up here, what it does, it teaches you a little bit here, and then you're on your own. You know what I'm saying? So any thought that comes besides satsang, you should upset it should upset you. But does it really upset us? Why? We don't care about satsang. We care about everything else. Right? What is the reason we are doing satsang? What? To get moksha, right? But that's not true. I don't think that's true. Think about it. What is the reason we are doing satsang? Are we really doing it for ourselves? If we are doing it for ourselves, then when we leave the satsang, we shouldn't stop doing satsang, do we? And we do stop doing satsang. Right? That's meaning we are not doing it for ourselves. We are doing it so Maharaj stays happy with us and he could give us all the physical things, all the materialistic things. We get car, we get a nice house, we get a nice place to live, we go to a lot of different places. Right? Do we really do for Maharaj? Do we really do for ourselves? In reality, if you think about it, you know what I'm saying? This is something that you, me, all of us need to think about it by ourselves. That are we doing satsang for ourselves? Then when we leave, why do we stop doing satsang? What is the reason behind it? Is because we don't really want to have Maharaj. We really don't want to have a moksha. We only care about physical, material things. And we need to change that. Right? Okay, if we did do a satsang, then what did we learn last week? Last વચનામૃતમાં શું આવ્યું હતું? Last time આવ્યું હતું શું આવ્યું હતું? પૂર્વ, can you say it on the mic?
To think that your soul and everything around you is Maya. To get
Distracted from.
Vairagya and Apnanista.
Right, એ વૈરાગ્ય અને આત્મનિષ્ઠા ફર્સ્ટ ટુ હતું અને સેકન્ડ ટુ આપણે કેળવવાનું શું હતું? એક લવ ટુવર્ડ્સ ભગવાન અને બીજું જ્ઞાન, નોલેજ ઓફ મહારાજ. રાઈટ, એટલે આપણે બધાએ આ સત્સંગમાં રહી અને ધીરે 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 શીખવાનું છે. આની અંદર છેલ્લે છેલ્લે જે go ahead, finish it so I can talk about it later. Go ahead.
Thus, even after attaining this satsang, which is rare for even Brahma, affection for objects other than Bhagwan still remains. This is because one has not developed as firm a belief for the Prataksha Swarup of Bhagwan as one has with the non-Prataksha Swarup of Bhagwan. That is why the Shruti state, if one develops belief in the Guru, who is the Prataksha Swarup of Bhagwan, in the same way that one has belief in the non-Prataksha Devs, then as a result one attains all the Guru Shastras, Dharma, Arth, Kam, and Moksha, which are described as attainable. In fact, when one attains the company of such a son, one has attained he who was to be attained after death, while still alive, one who has attained that which is called moksha or kalyan while being alive. What I have just explained to you may appear to be simple, but in reality it is extremely subtle. One who is currently behaving in this manner will understand that this is extremely subtle, but others will not be able to understand it. That is how subtle it is. After delivering this discourse, Shiji Maharaj bids Jai Sachidanand to everyone, then returned to his residence. Thus ends Vaishnava Antya 2. Yes.
So can you explain to us what is Pratyaksha Swarup means?
So it's saying that like Pratyaksha Swarup as in like the Bhagwan in front of you, and it's saying like a Santa Bhagwan, like a true Satpurush or a true Santa Bhagwan is like having attained Bhagwan right in front of you, because like Bhagwan lives in his sons, right? So it's saying that if you have that Satpurush, then you're basically guaranteed moksha. And like if you have that, like you have the company of that Satpurush, it's like you actually attain moksha while still being alive. And you've attained Bhagwan even after, like, Bhagwan after death that you've attained, like, while living.
What is the meaning of Pratyaksha?
Present or, like, visible.
Do we have a Pratyaksha Swarup of Maharaj? Where is he? Huh? Yes? Okay, when you go home, do we have that Pratyaksha Swarup of Maharaj? Where is he? When you go to sleep, do you have a Pratyaksha Swarup of Maharaj? Where is he?
In your heart.
Do you really believe that? Do you really, really believe it? If we really believe, આપણે અહીંયા મહારાજ આપણી જોડે વાતો કરતા હોય, રાઈટ? અહીંયા આપણને ધારો કે મહારાજ અહીંયા આવે, અહીંયા આવ્યા છે, રાઈટ? અત્યારે અને મહારાજ આપણને તેજની અંદર દર્શન આપે, લાઇટ 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 આપીને આમ વાતો કરતા હોય, બોલતા હોય, તો આપણને do we feel different? Let's say if he comes here and he talks to you and આપણને blessing કરતા હોય અને આપણી જોડે વાતો કરતા હોય, do you feel any different than what you are right now? You would feel different than what you're feeling right now, right? Because he doesn't talk to you right now. But when he starts talking to you, you feel different, right? That's meaning we don't understand what is the Pratyaksha Swarup of Maharaj is. That's meaning. We just say that he's in our heart. We just say he's right here. But we don't really feel it inside. We don't really have. કે જો હોય તો આપણી જે બધી વસ્તુઓ બદલાઈ જાય. ધારો કે અહીંયા આપણી જોડે આવીને વાતો કરતા હોય, રાઈટ? બોલતા હોય, આપણા માથા ઉપર હાથ મૂકતા હોય, આપણી જોડે વાતો કરતા હોય, આપણને પ્રસાદી આલતા હોય, then you feel very different than you feel when he's not doing it, right? That's meaning we don't understand the Pratyaksha Swarup of Maharaj. Pratyaksha Swarup of Maharaj. But we are lacking this understanding, we are not really grasping Pratyaksha Swarup of Maharaj means. આપણે સ્કૂલે જઈએ, રાઈટ, અને આપણે જમવા બેઠા આવીએ, રાઈટ, અને એકદમ ઉતાવળમાં હોય અને ફટ દઈને આપણે જમી લઈએ ભગવાનને યાદ કર્યા વગર, તો આપણે પ્રત્યક્ષ સ્વરૂપ ઓફ મહારાજને સમજ્યા કહેવાય? કેમ? મહારાજ આપણી જોડે હતા તો આપણે ભગવાનને ભૂલી ગયા, રાઈટ? આપણી જોડે મહારાજ હોય અને મહારાજને આપણે ભૂલીને પછી આપણે જમીએ તો આપણે ભગવાનનું પ્રત્યક્ષ સ્વરૂપ સમજ્યા કે ન સમજ્યા? નથી સમજ્યા. આપણે કોઈ પણ ક્રિયા કરીએ ભગવાનને ભૂલીને કરીએ અને તો પછી એ ભગવાનનું આપણે પ્રત્યક્ષ સ્વરૂપ જાણ્યું કે ન જાણ્યું? All the kids on the phone can say it too, okay? The meat and anybody, you know what I'm saying? If you feel, પ્રત્યક્ષ સ્વરૂપ ઓફ મહારાજ જ્યાં સુધી આપણને નહીં સમજણ પડે ત્યાં સુધી આપણે આવી રીતના લોચામાં જ રહીશું. We will always think, okay, મહારાજ તો મંદિરમાં છે, મહારાજ તો હોલમાં છે, કે મહારાજ તો ગમે ત્યાં બીજે છે પણ અત્યારે છે અક્ષરધામમાં છે. મહારાજ આપણી જોડે છે એ નહીં રહે અને એ ભૂલાશે એટલે આપણે પ્રત્યક્ષ સ્વરૂપ ઓફ મહારાજ આપણે ભૂલી ગયા કહેવાય. પ્રત્યક્ષ મીન્સ હી ઇઝ ધેર વિથ યુ. તો પછી મહારાજનું પ્રત્યક્ષ સ્વરૂપ જ જો આપણે જાણતા ના હોઈએ તો પછી આપણે એમને રિસ્પેક્ટ જ એવી રીતે પ્રત્યક્ષ રૂપે ના આપી શકીએ ને, રાઈટ? જો આની અંદર શું કીધું કે પરોક્ષ મીન્સ ધારો કે ભગવાન અક્ષરધામમાં જતા રહે અને પછી દર્શન ના દે અને શું કહેવાય? પરોક્ષ. પરોક્ષનો જેવો આપણને મહિમા છે એવો પ્રત્યક્ષનો નથી એમ. પરોક્ષની વાતો કરીએ આપણે મહારાજની જુદા જુદી લીલાઓ વાતો કરીએ આપણે રાજી થઈ જઈએ, વાહ, નાઇસ સ્ટોરી, નાઇસ બ્યુટીફુલ સ્ટોરી, ગુડ સ્ટોરી. પણ અત્યારે જ આપણી જોડે મહારાજ છે ને અત્યારે જ આપણી જોડે વાતો કરે છે ને અત્યારે જ આપણે એમની વિચાર એમને યાદ કરીને બધું કામ કરીએ છીએ તો એ પ્રત્યક્ષ સ્વરૂપ થઈ ગયું. અને જો આપણે એમને ભૂલીને કામ કરીએ, કાં તો ભૂલીને જમીએ, કાં તો ભૂલીને કોઈ પણ ક્રિયા કરીએ તો એ આપણે ભગવાનને પ્રત્યક્ષ માનતા નથી. અને આપણે આ ક્લિયર આપણે આપણા મગજમાં કરી દેવું પડે કે પ્રત્યક્ષ મહારાજ વગર સન હોય, રાઈટ? હવે I'm gonna take a whole wall, આટલો વોલ છે ને આપણે સામે, એના ઉપર હું સનનું પિક્ચર દોરું, બ્યુટીફુલ, બધું બ્રાઇટ બધું કરું બધું દે, આપણને રિયલ સન જેવું લાગે. But when you turn off the lights or at night, when sun is not there, would that sun take over the sun that's outside? Why? It's a picture. It's not real, right? How does that? So in order to get the darkness out, you need a real sun, right? Would this sun take over? Would this sun we make here? So you need what? પ્રત્યક્ષ સન જોઈએ તો જ તે ડાર્કનેસ જાય. તો આપણો મોક્ષ કરવો હોય તો શું જોઈએ? આપણે પ્રત્યક્ષ ભગવાન જોઈએ. જો પ્રત્યક્ષ ભગવાન ના હોય તો મોક્ષ થાય? Cannot. Understand? પ્રત્યક્ષ મહારાજ આપણે કરવા પડશે છે, but we have to keep that thought in mind all the time that પ્રત્યક્ષ મહારાજ છે, પ્રત્યક્ષ જ છે. અહીંયા અત્યારે મને દર્શન આપો છો ખાલી દર્શન માટે જ આપો છો, પણ રિયાલિટીની અંદર તો મારી જોડે મારા હાર્ટમાં રિયાલિટી ઓલ ધ ટાઈમ છે, 24/7. Even when I sleep, when I wake up, when I all the time is in my consciousness, right? આપણે જતા રહીએ તો આપણી જોડે હોય, નહીં તો ભગવાન વગર તો પ્રત્યક્ષ ભગવાન હશે તો આપણો મોક્ષ થાય, પણ આપણે એમને માનશું કે ભગવાન તો જતા રહીએ તો મોક્ષ થાય નહીં. ગઈ વખતે વ્રજે બહુ સરસ એક્ઝામ્પલ આપી દીધું. Go ahead, say the example that you said about banana. 4 friend હતા, બનાના લઈને ગયા હતા.
So there was this guru and he had 4 students. He gave all the students 1 banana, and he said, wherever, go somewhere that you think that no one can see you, eat the banana. 3 of the kids, I don't know where they went, but 3 of them went and they ate the banana. One went in a room, but then he thought, I can't actually hide from anyone and eat the banana because Maharaj is always watching. So he came back and he didn't eat the banana, and all the other 3 kids ate the banana. So the guru asked him, why didn't you eat the banana? And he said that I couldn't eat the banana because God's always watching over us.
Yeah, Jignesh too.
Next is Jignesh with his bhajan.
I got 2.
Shamarajni Jai. शामराजनी जय डोलरिया रंग ना भरिया है हंसी बोलो हरी डोलरिया डोलरिया रंग ना भरिया डोलरिया रंग ना हंसी बोलो हरी डोलरिया डोलरिया रंग ना भरिया
डोलरिया रंग ना भरिया
डोलरिया रंग ना भरिया डोलरिया रंग ना भरिया हंसी बोलो हो हंसी बोलो हो हंसी बोलो हरी डोलरिया डोलरिया रंग ना भरिया
डोलरिया रंग ना भरिया
नटवर सुंदर नाथ जी रे नटवर सुंदर नाथ जी रे हे वाला नटवर सुंदर नाथ जी रे नटवर सुंदर नाथ जी रे तमने में अंतर हो तमने में अंतर हो तमने में अंतर माधरिया नटवर सुंदर नाथ जी रे नटवर सुंदर नाथ जी रे मिथ्या जगतनी लालच मेरी मिथ्या जगतनी लालच मेरी हो मिथ्या जगतनी लालच मेरी
ओ मिथ्या जगतनी लालच मेरी
प्राण थकी प्यारा करिया डोलरिया रंग ना भरिया डोलरिया रंग ना भरिया हंसी बोलो हो हंसी बोलो हरी डोलरिया
डोलरिया